And I think we all agree, it's okay to protest. It's good to protest. It's part of being Canadian.
Flashback.
If your truck is being used in these protests, your corporate accounts will be frozen. The insurance on your vehicle will be suspended. The consequences are real, and they will bite.
Boy, that definitely did not go the way Chrystia Freeland was hoping for. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. There was back-to-back Liberal events with Karina Gould as well as Chrystia Freeland coming out with their announcement for the leadership race of the Liberal Party. Now, Karina Gould's and Mark Carney's, who have both happened before Chrystia Freeland's, didn't seem to have any problems, any hiccups. However, Chrystia Freeland took almost 20 to 25 minutes just to get her opening statement out, as she had, I think it was like 13 or 14 interruptions via Palestinian protesters, and it happened pretty much right out the gate. Take a look.
I am so...
Now I'm going to play some of this back while I'm talking, but you could take a look at how she has a smile on her face as soon as she hears somebody from the crowd yelling, "Chrystia Freeland!" and she's all excited about that. Then she starts to realize what these people are actually saying and what their purpose is, and her face quickly changes, as you can see here. Now, in terms of her announcement, I'm pretty sure a lot of people watched the CPAC coverage of it, but if you watched other people like Global News or CTV, a lot of them had different angles, and Global actually caught some of these people up close, as you're going to see here.
It's the vibe Chrystia Freeland wanted, a man-eater, ready to take on Donald Trump. But that enthusiasm was short-lived. Over 20 pro-Palestinian demonstrators individually interrupting Freeland's campaign launch.
Get out! A belief that got repeatedly tested at her event. More than a dozen pro-Palestinian protesters took turns interrupting her, some calling her a genocide supporter before getting thrown out.
Now, outside of this event being pretty embarrassing for Chrystia, seeing as she constantly kept getting interrupted and it was the focus was just being taken away from that actual announcement and put more so on the Palestinian protesters that were disrupting everything. But one thing to note is this security here, either they were too busy dealing and escorting people out that they didn't have enough backups for the next group of people or next individuals who were trying to target Chrystia. But you had this one Liberal MP numerous times get up and rush the stage to protect her, because these guys were getting right up to the podium, as you're going to see in these two instances here.
In my office in Ottawa, I have a beautiful painting of a Canadian flag made by kids. Our country that needs us to be united, that needs every single person and every single supporter across the country.
Now, kudos to that guy. I don't know why they just didn't post somebody there. Maybe it was so Chrystia could keep this strong, independent woman image there, that she didn't need no man beside her to protect her from these crazy individuals. But all the other Liberal cabinet members back there, especially the males, all very pathetic. Like, none of them got up. Anthony House's father didn't move. That Yvonne Baker guy right behind her didn't move. Even Mark Holland was there. You can't actually see her from this angle, but if you tuned into Global News, which is what I was doing, you could actually see him. And this sign that a lot of people have been trying to understand what it said that came up behind her on the CPAC on Global actually was clear as day. And here's an image of that.
With no police on site at the time, Freeland staff and even some MPs having to pull up protesters themselves, thinning out an enthusiastic crowd that had roughly 200 people to start.
Now, it was very clear that these protesters were quite organized. They had the distractions happening in the front. They allowed people to get close to the podium on the other side while other people were getting escorted. Then while those people that approached the podium got escorted out, you had these people with the sign coming up behind them. I don't understand why none of those Liberal members that were standing right behind the people with the sign tore that down themselves or got rid of it themselves. None of these guys seem like they were actually there to support her. But in my opinion, the support aspect was a big issue for Freeland. It looked like at least 10 MPs were coming in via Zoom, which kind of combats the 10 maybe that were there. So half of your support was just there via Zoom. But also, it just came out that 2 other MP/cabinet members are now backing Mark Carney, and that's Harjit Sajjan as well as Mélanie Joly. Now, the Quebec vote was very important for this, and Mélanie Joly backing Carney could kind of swing it more in his favor. Take a listen to this report.
Meantime, endorsements roll in for former Governor of the Bank of Canada, Mark Carney, from Minister Harjit Sajjan.
I will be officially endorsing you, Mark, in the leadership for the Liberal Party.
In a bold statement moments before both candidates announced their intentions to run in the leadership race, Foreign Affairs Minister Mélanie Joly released a statement endorsing former Bank of Canada Governor Mark Carney for Liberal leader, saying in part that Carney brings unparalleled economic experience and that he's best positioned to defeat federal Conservative Party leader Pierre Poilievre.
The rocky campaign launch might not even been the worst part of Freeland's day, Carolyn. Foreign Affairs Minister Mélanie Joly endorsed Mark Carney, bringing a huge political organization within her home province of Quebec, a major boost for Freeland's main rival.
Nelson Wiseman, political science expert, says out of all of the candidates now in the race, he believes there are only 2 that have a credible chance of succeeding, Mark Carney and Chrystia Freeland.
Now, in my opinion, you don't need to be a political science expert to know that this was the options that were going to be given to us, either Mark Carney or Chrystia Freeland as the top contenders. Outside of them, too, we have that billionaire guy, Frank Bayless, nobody really knows too much about. You have that Chandra Ari guy, who I don't think is going to get many votes. Throwing Karina Gould into the mix here, she potentially could be taking some votes away from Chrystia in terms of the female vote, which might hurt her a little bit. But if we look at the just Karina Gould herself, so her riding is Burlington. Now, if she doesn't do too well here, coming the next election, she's actually prone to lose her seat. So if she doesn't really get the support for the leadership race, I don't think things are looking good for her. A lot of people are saying, oh, she's young, she speaks 4 languages, she could be good for the people. She supported basically everything that Freeland has supported, as well as Mark Carney and Justin. Like, they're still pushing things. Even in this CTV announcement, she said that she wouldn't get rid of the carbon tax. She would just put a pause to it.
Us as a country is to have a leader who has the confidence of the party, and more importantly, a leader who has the confidence of the country.
Gould says she plans to stand up to President-elect Donald Trump and to freeze the federal carbon price, but not abolish it.
Now, they actually posed this question today as well to Chrystia Freeland, because it's been reported that she said she's not going to be dealing with the carbon tax. Yet, up until pretty much December last month, she's been pushing for it still, or defending it. And just listen to her answer.
Hi, Ms. Freeland. Mackenzie Gray with Global News. Hoping you can answer this in both English and French. Folks close to you have told us that if you become PM, you plan to scrap the carbon tax and replace it with something else. But as early or as most recently as December 9th, you extolled the virtues of both the carbon tax and the rebate. So can you tell us over the past 41 days what has changed in your thinking that the carbon tax is not the right thing to go forward with?
Thanks for the question, Mackenzie. And the time has come for us as a government, as a country, to do two things. I think we all know we have to fight against climate change. We all get that. We need to do it for our kids. We need to do it for the planet. Liberals believe in that, and that is a fight that has to continue. But it is also the case that we need to get better at listening to Canadians and at listening to what Canadians are telling us. And we have heard very clearly from Canadians in provinces where there is a consumer-facing price on carbon that they don't like it. That's something that we have to listen to. Democracy means when people tell you something, you have to listen. And I will say, our party hasn't been good enough at that. That has to change, and I am going to change that.
It's just ridiculous that these liberals love to work in reverse when it comes to accountability. Instead, they would rather do the damage and then work on damage control rather than trying to prevent the damage altogether. Yet here she is openly admitting that the liberals have not done a good job of actually listening to the Canadians. But have no fear, we should trust that she's now here and she's going to be doing that. It's too little too late for that, and nothing they're going to be doing at this point is going to change that. We have her deleting all of her social media, try to give her a fresh start, just has her campaign stuff on there. People don't forget what you actually did, Freeland, like I showed in the opening, where you announced the bank accounts being frozen of the truckers. And even as a reporter posed to you, you've been supporting the carbon tax up until December 9th of just last year, the past month. So I'm pretty sure Canadians are prone to believe that they shouldn't be listening to anything you're going to be saying. Now, as we go on with the other questions from the media and question her motives even more, take a listen.
Thank you, Ms. Freeland. Kamal Koramali here with CTV National News. Curious to know why you're boasting of it as an advantage that Donald Trump doesn't like you, especially between two key trading partners. Shouldn't you be getting along with them? And secondly, curious to know why you've limited questions to one per media outlet, especially when you haven't been available for such a long amount of time. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the question. Look, Donald Trump doesn't like me for one simple reason. I have been fierce, resolute, and effective in defending Canada, in defending Canadians, and in defending the Canadian economy, in negotiations with the United States, in negotiations with his administration. He doesn't like that. He prefers pushovers. And I want to assure Canadians that I am up for the fight and I will be firm and resolute in the defense of the national interest. You want someone as leader of the Liberal Party and as Prime Minister who Donald Trump is afraid of.
Now, I think this reporter asked a great question because why are you on stage boasting about essentially being the thorn in the guy's side who will be most likely putting tariffs on us as of tomorrow? It doesn't really make much sense because Donald Trump is not scared of you and he's made it very clear that he finds you annoying and that he does not like you. But instead of saying something like, I look forward when I become prime minister to working hand in hand with the incoming administration, maybe trying to repair some of those rocky relationships, you're out here just saying, Trump doesn't like me, so it makes me the best to deal with him. I don't know. That doesn't really connect for me. But the last reporter actually asks her about her relationship with Trudeau because, as you know, she's been out of the limelight since she put out that letter. And this is what she had to say about that.
Good afternoon, Rafi Vujikani on CBC News. Could you explain why your difference of opinion with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on the economy started when he wanted to change your job in cabinet? Why was this the catalyst for you to begin speaking out?
Because the difference didn't start then. For some time, I had been in disagreement with the Prime Minister, specifically over spending. Those disagreements got worse after President Trump threatened to impose 25% tariffs on our country. At that point, I realized that we faced what could be an existential threat. And I realized that we had to really focus all of our energies on being ready for that threat. We had to keep our fiscal firepower dry. I was very clear about that, and we saw the consequences.
Yeah, the whole world got to see those consequences. But I love that they always say that the Conservative Party is a party that can't say anything, that Pierre Poilievre has basically got them by the tongues. Yet she's just openly admitted that she's had months and months and months of disagreements with Trudeau, and nothing was able to happen. There was no sort of recourse that could be taken. You know why? Because this narcissist is the leader of the party. What he wants is what he gets. And we even saw this when they had the earlier caucus revolt, and he came out all smug saying, party is stronger than ever.
Trudeau. Liberal Party is strong and united.
So as the saying goes, you lay in the bed that you made. Nobody should feel sorry for Freeland or any of the other Liberal members. Even Carney is part of this. They're all the exact same, so just don't get fooled by any of this. But as always, I'd love to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought about all this. And as always, I will catch you guys on the next one. Thanks so much.